Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into the world of musical instrument technicians. So you've got an interview coming up. Could be for a concert hall, a vintage instrument shop, or even a busy repair shop. And we're here to help you, well, hit all the right notes.
It really is more than just fixing instruments, isn't it? It's about passion, precision, and really understanding how each piece makes music come alive.
Okay, so let's fine-tune those interview skills, shall we? Imagine you're face-to-face with the hiring manager, and they hit you with that classic opener. How did you become interested in becoming a musical instrument technician? How do you make that answer really sing?
I think this is your chance to share your, musical origin story. Forget the textbook definition. They want to hear about the moment you fell in love with the craft. Was it tinkering with the piano as a kid? Or maybe the feeling of getting an old guitar back in tune? Those personal anecdotes are what people remember.
RoleCatcher's Career Guide actually suggests weaving in any internships or apprenticeships. Like, did you spend your summer learning from a luthier? Or maybe volunteering at a music school,
Right.
repairing instruments. I feel like those experiences really show initiative.
Yeah, absolutely. It shows a commitment beyond just, theoretical knowledge. And speaking of knowledge, let's move on to another common question. Can you describe your experience with repairing and maintaining musical instruments? This is where you really showcase your versatility.
Yeah, and it gets even more interesting, right? Because not all technicians work on every instrument. Some might be all about the woodwinds, others, brass or string instruments. And what I find fascinating is that even though RoleCatcher's Guide has this blank section for specialisms, it kind of highlights that, yeah, this specialization, IS, something technicians are thinking about.
Precisely, yeah. So tailor your answer to the specific job. If they're looking for a violin repair specialist, and that's what you've been doing for years, restoring violins, that's your time to shine.
It's like RoleCatcher's AI feedback. It helps you fine-tune those answers for specific roles, so it resonates with the hiring manager. Okay, ready for the next question? This one's a bit more, analytical. What is your approach to diagnosing and troubleshooting instrument issues?
Oh, I like this one. This is all about showcasing your analytical mind. It's like being an instrument doctor. You're listening to the instrument's symptoms, observing its quirks, and then using your knowledge to figure out what's wrong.
Right, exactly. It's not just about tightening a screw here or there. It's understanding how all the parts work together. Could be a worn-out key on a flute, a buzzing fret on a guitar, a sticky valve on a trumpet. Each problem needs a different approach.
Exactly. And sometimes you have to think outside the toolbox. Sometimes the best solution is the most unexpected one. Remember that time I used a credit card to fix a sticky saxophone pad?
Wait, you actually did that. See, I love these behind-the-scenes stories. That's something our listeners should remember. Sometimes a little ingenuity can go a long way.
Resourcefulness is key in this field. And speaking of keeping things fresh, let's talk about staying relevant in a constantly evolving industry. So the question is, how do you keep up to date with the latest trends and technology in the industry?
This is where that passion for lifelong learning really comes in.
It's true. The music industry never sits still, does it? New materials, digital tools, even those hybrid instruments are popping up all the time. RoleCatcher's Industry Trends section really highlights how crucial it is to adapt in this field.
So how would you suggest someone showcases that, that they're on top of their game?
Well, it's not just about, knowing the latest gadgets, right? It's more about a mindset of always wanting to learn new things.
Right, like subscribing to those industry magazines or maybe attending workshops, even following like online forums or those master classes everyone's doing these days.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're passionate about something, learning doesn't really feel like work, does it?
Definitely not. It's part of why we love what we do. Right. Okay, next question. This one might throw some people off. Can you describe your experience with custom instrument builds?
Getting into the world of custom builds. Well, this one won't apply to every technician. And that's okay. Not everyone builds instruments from scratch.
Exactly. It's more common for, like, luthiers or those specialized workshops, right?
Precisely. Now, if you do have that custom build experience, this is your chance to really dive deep. Talk about the materials you've worked with, the challenges you faced, even the design choices you made along the way.
It's like showing off your artistic side. You can not just fix, but actually create.
Exactly. But even if you haven't built an instrument from the ground up, maybe think about a time you had to, significantly modify an instrument. Did you ever adapt an acoustic guitar for a musician with a disability, for example? Or restore a vintage clarinet where you had to find missing parts?
Such a good point. It's about those problem-solving skills and being able to adapt, right? Speaking of adapting, Let's talk customer service. Here's the question. Can you describe your experience working with customers and providing customer service?
This is so important. Remember, you're not just working on these instruments, you're working with people. And those people, they're passionate about what they do.
And let's be honest, they're probably a little stressed if their instrument's out of commission, right?
For sure. Empathy goes a long way. RoleCatcher's guide really stresses clear communication, like being able to explain something technical to someone who might not, be as familiar with the jargon.
Right, like translating that technical talk into everyday language. Make them feel comfortable.
Exactly. Think of it this way. You're not just handing back a repaired instrument, you're handing back a part of their musical voice.
I love that. Okay, next up. Can you describe your experience managing inventory and ordering parts and supplies? Now, this might not sound as exciting as, say, voicing a piano.
True, true. But it's the backbone of a well-run workshop.
Exactly. And it shows you're organized, that you get the importance of efficiency, which is, let's face it, huge GE in this field.
Huge. Even if you haven't managed, a massive inventory, you can talk about how you keep your own workspace organized, how you track those orders, even where you source those hard-to-find parts.
It all comes back to being detail-oriented, right? Understanding the value of a well-stocked workbench. Okay, moving on to question number 8. How do you approach training and mentoring new technicians?
Passing on the knowledge. This one's all about leadership, showing that you care about the future of this craft.
And even if you haven't formally mentored someone, you can still speak to it. Think about your own journey as a learner.
Right. What helped you grasp those tricky techniques? What kind of guidance would have been valuable to you back then?
And this is a good time to mention that RoleCatcher actually has this really cool networking feature. Connects professionals, opens doors for, those mentorship opportunities.
I love that. It's a good reminder that even seasoned pros, we're always learning, often from each other, sharing that knowledge.
And speaking of sharing knowledge, let's tackle our last question for this deep dive. How do you balance quality and efficiency in your work?
This is where the heart of a true craftsman meets those real-world deadlines.
Right. Finding that sweet spot, huh? Meticulous attention to detail, but key, also being able to work quickly and efficiently.
Exactly. So, share your secrets. How do you stay organized? Manage your time. Avoid burning out, especially in a field like this. Any specific tools or techniques you rely on?
This is another area where I feel like RoleCatcher's AI can be a game changer.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, it can help you, articulate those strategies in a way that hiring managers really respond to. Highlight your organizational skills, but in a concrete way.
Because let's be honest, no one wants to hear, oh, I'm just a naturally organized person.
Right. Give them specifics.
Yeah. So think about it. Do you have a system for prioritizing tasks? Or maybe a method for tracking your progress on multiple projects at once? Those details really demonstrate that commitment to both quality and efficiency.
And that is music to a hiring manager's ears. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've spent this episode walking through those interview questions, but there's more to acing an interview than just, knowing the answers.
Right. Oh, absolutely. It's like, think of it like this. You can read sheet music, right? But then there's feeling the music. It's about bringing that passion, that authenticity.
Exactly. Imagine 2 technicians, same skill level, walk into an interview. One sounds like a robot just reciting answers. The other one, genuine, enthusiastic, you can hear the passion. Who do you think gets the job?
No question. That passion, that spark, it makes all the difference. And, that's where practice is so important.
Yeah, it really is like fine-tuning an instrument, isn't it? You would just walk on stage without rehearsing.
Exactly. Practicing your answers, even using those AI tools like RoleCatcher, it helps you find your voice, your rhythm, that comfort zone.
And speaking of comfort zones, there's another tool I wanted to mention. RoleCatcher. They have this AI-powered video practice feature. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah. It's like having a personal coach in your pocket, analyzing everything.
Right. You can record yourself answering those common interview questions. Yeah. And it gives you feedback on your delivery, your body language, all of it.
Which is so key, because sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it, Are you making eye contact? Smiling? Projecting confidence.
Those little things make a huge difference. It shows you're not just going through the motions, you're excited about the opportunity.
Enthusiasm is contagious, right? And interviewers can spot someone who's faking it a mile away.
So be yourself. Bring that passion to the interview. Let it shine through, And remember,
You're not just there to fill a position, you're there to share your unique musical talents with the world.
beautifully said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of musical instrument technicians.
Don't forget, preparation is key. Do your research on the employer, have some good questions ready for them, and above all,
Never lose sight of that initial spark, right? The thing that made you fall in love with this craft in the first place.
because when you genuinely love what you do, it shows. In every interaction, every repair, every single note.
And that is music to our ears. That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Hope you found it insightful, inspiring, and maybe even a little bit tuneful. Don't forget to check out RoleCatcher. They've got some amazing resources. And until next time, keep those instruments playing.